All right, all right. Here we are, sheltering in place yet another week. I don't know about you, but today was the first day that I'm actually feeling a little anxious. That I feel like I need to get out to this place that I have behind me.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm
would love.
craving Monterey, by the way, for some reason. I feel like I need to go to Monterey to grab a cup of coffee and do a group hug outside the cafe. I don't know about you.
That. I mean, just being available, able to like hang out with people and see
Right?
folks. It's gonna be weird, like when you could actually hug somebody. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna be like all awkward going. Should I go right or left? Which one
is
are
it
we doing, man?
okay? Can I hug you? Can I
Yeah,
not hug
yeah.
you?
Is it how do you do this again?
Exactly. So,
You'll see all kinds of videos on YouTube on how to give a good hug, right?
how to give a good hug,
Because they
right?
got a YouTube video for everything, right? Top
Exactly.
three greatest ways to do a proper hug.
How to social gather again?
Yeah, really. How to say hi without insulting people. Get my video.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it's crazy. Are you feeling any kind of social anxiety, or are you totally cool?
I mean, I'm all right. I just think that, I mean, I have outdoor space, which is good, but I mean, for folks who don't, I could probably see how it could be pretty challenging. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I mean, I would love to just connect. I think, make dinners or have lunch and share your food. You know what I mean?
coffee, man.
And
Like this,
coffee.
just even the sound of two coffee mugs clanking, cling.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me right now.
I mean, I'm watching all these like food videos like on a regular basis, and I'm like watching. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so getting inspired, right? But I'm not gonna cook
Right,
all that for like two people. You know what I mean?
right,
I
exactly.
want a feast.
Well, good news is that you might get an honorary culinary degree after this. You'll get it in the mail in a month.
I don't know.
So here we are in our respective industries. Things are changing quite a bit. I know in the lending business, we've definitely gone towards more the risk mitigation and removing risk off the table, and that looks like things taking a little bit longer because they're measuring twice before they cut once.
Hmm.
One of the places is verifications of employment and income. A lot more lenders are doing those three times instead of one. Typically, it's they do the verification of employment at the beginning of the process, right, to get you approved. Now they're doing it then. They're doing it right before they issue final documents to the title company, and then they do it one last time before they send the wired funds to the title company to fund your loan. So we're
Hmm.
seeing that it is making the process longer, but at the same time, the good news is that as long as you exercise some patience and understand that that's the way it is, and you set expectations for yourself and others, that we're getting through it and deals are getting done. I've said this numerous times that I think this is a great time to buy. If you can, then do. Meaning, if you can and you're pre approved, then do it. Because if you think about it, I call it the trifecta of buying. You have very low interest rates, you have less competition because less people are putting in offers because some people are just freezing, right? By the
Hmm.
way, on that note, do you know that the number one reason why people drown, it's not because they don't know how to swim, it's because they stop swimming, they panic, right? It's that deer in headlights kind of effect. And then the third reason why it's a great time to buy is because there's more room to negotiate. And on that note, Fatima, when you're negotiating out there, what are you telling people? Because look, there's a difference between lowballing somebody and insulting them, a seller, and just a good collaborative negotiation.
Right. I think it's important to just know that everybody's in it together. I mean, it's really not I'm battling you, you battling me. It's
That's a
not
good point.
pick someone for all they have. I think at the end of the day, as long as people are reasonable, explain their position. If your maximum is this amount, then say, hey, I'm not trying to insult you. This is really my maximum. Would you work with me? Or you can negotiate closing costs, which you haven't been able to for a long time. Closing costs could add up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different things where you could, where the seller, you can work with the seller and the seller could work with you, just as long as it feels reasonable. And I think explaining a little bit more and having, your realtor talk to the agent and communicate with them and just explain the situation. I think sometimes, when it comes to the buyer, obviously is going to look after themselves and they're going to try. You're always going to try to get a good deal, and which, hey, I mean, this market, you're going to do it, right? but then also the seller has plans and it has to fit their lifestyle change, whatever they have to do. So you just got to say, hey, this is my situation, and find a way to make it work. But I mean, I find that there are opportunities out there. It's how you present it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And also having a team that helps you see beyond your fear is
Mm,
really important now more than ever. I've always expounded the virtues of having your tribe and having your team. Look, none of us are experts at everything, but if we surround ourselves with the proper experts, we're able to better navigate, and not only that, better able to uncover opportunities. Because I think now, just like you said, there's great opportunity because
mm,
there's less traffic and there's less noise and drama. I
mm-hmm.
think now, if you focus and you have the right people, you have an agent like yourself who's out there every single day. You, before we even started recording, you were telling me how you're not like waiting for your phone to ring. You're out there calling people all day long, uncovering what you have in opportunities and also asking them what kind of opportunities do they have. The
Absolutely.
power of that is humongous.
Oh, I mean, it's important. I mean, I think sometimes people feel like, I return all my calls. I don't just leave people hanging. There are
Yeah,
people that will do that. When it comes to having a listing, you just don't put on the MLS. You're constantly in the background trying to find, collaboration with agents, and then you'll share off market stuff. You'll say, hey, I have this coming up. What's going on with this? Or, you just kind of share information because we're all in it together, and I
yeah.
think that you work together and you're friendly and you're resourceful and you're helpful. And I think that well, that always works out for me anyway. I mean, that's just my style.
Yeah, and it's worked to your favor and to the favor of your clients too, because there's nothing better than working with somebody who's easy or easier to work with. We all know people, right? And let's be honest, if we had to be super transparent here, we have people on our phones that are like, oh gosh, this person's difficult. You probably let it go to voicemail, right? Uh, uh,
Yeah, but
Look, it's just reality, right? Not many people talk about it. We all have a tendency to elevate being passive aggressive to an Olympic sport almost. But if in reality we had to be honest to one another, it's not fun to work with people who are difficult to work with, right? And
oh,
so you're going to notice in your life that the less friction you have, the easier things get. And part of that is negotiating real estate. What are we seeing right now? Are we seeing a drop of anywhere from 5 to 20% in prices when you're putting an offer? What are you seeing with your clients?
I think it just depends. I mean, I think
Yeah,
it all depends on the location and
of
depends
course.
on inventory. And so I think that 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 really just depends on the area, the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But I mean, for sure. I mean, I could see that there could be a 5 to 10% room for 5 to 10% to negotiate. Uh,
Negotiate is about right. Okay.
sometimes it's just so hard because it's so hard to know how this goes. I mean, I don't know anybody that would know. You know what I mean? I think that I don't care. I don't know what
Yeah.
economist or
Yeah.
anybody can foresee what's going to happen the next year. And this is different, so to know if this gets better or gets worse, it's hard to say. So I just say work with we've always just kind of worked with what is for today. But yeah, I don't know. I see that there is some negotiating going on, but it's just trying to be fair about it. And if the seller is going to give
Yeah.
in, then give in too. Okay, then go. Waive your inspection contingency. Don't let them hanging out there and thinking that taking your low offer, then you're going to back out on them, which is really rude. So don't put an offer in because it could be detrimental to the seller. I mean, even if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
the buyer's agent, you
You
still
know,
want
that's
to by
that's a
people.
good point. That's a good point. Look, before you do anything or open your mouth, put yourself in the shoes of that person. Walk a mile, as they say, right, in other people's shoes so that you know that at least a little bit of their story and ask yourself, would you want that done to you? That's
Mm,
how I look at it. Would I want it's the golden rule, right? Treat others the way you want to be treated. Just follow that and things will be fine. But
absolutely.
don't be realistic. Don't insult people when you're putting in offers, but there are really great opportunities out there to be had. You just have to stay focused, stay realistic, and stay in the hustle. Put activity on it. It's not going to come knocking. No seller's going to come to your door and knock on your door saying, "Hey, I got a house for sale. You want it? I'll give
Hmm.
it to you for 20% less." That ain't going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So make sure that you stay motivated. And again, that's why I say if you can, then do. If you're pre-approved and you know that your income is going to remain where it's at or get better,
Yep.
then do it. Because and the last piece is because look, you have to have a future outlook. This property is going to make you a certain amount of money called equity over time. That's one of the beauties of real estate, is that you actually make money in your sleep. It's called appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
It's called paying less taxes because you're deducting mortgage interest and property taxes up to 10 grand a year and so forth and so on. But have more of a long-term, long game approach so that
Yeah.
you're not anxious in the present.
And just like you're saying, like so for folks that are able who have been able to get pre-approved, and maybe some people's credit isn't the best, and maybe their work situation may be not conventional. So that's actually something that how has that changed? I know that we heard you had posted that Chase is really making their requirements really strict to even get a loan. Thankfully, you have a
Yeah, that's a great question because look, it's different for different people or in different lenders. I mean, what's happening is this: is some lenders are going and they're ratcheting up their conservatism, and what I mean by that, they're becoming more conservative. They're taking less risk. Chase decided that they're not going to do any loans with middle credit scores less than 700. They wanted 700 or above and 20% down. That's their prerogative.
Mhm.
Are there other lenders who are doing much less restrictive, more lenient kind of terms in their lending? Absolutely, I have them. So one of the benefits, I think, of working with a mortgage broker versus just one entity is the fact that you have more programs, there's more flexibility, and there's more options
Right, and you do all the work. So if you need to change banks because of some last minute,
than we do.
then you do all the work in the background. The person, your client doesn't have to get pre-approved with someone else. And you all,
Correct, because I'm not beholden to one lender. I now literally and purely work for the client. I always have, but my options were limited, right? Because I work for a certain entity. Now I don't have that limitation anymore. It's
great.
like now I have, Baskin and Robbins. I have all their flavors. I got all the ice cream from
Yep.
different vendors. I can go pick. You tell me, well, you know what? I'm allergic to this. Well, I'll go find a flavor of ice cream that you're not going to be allergic to. It's just that simple. I have more options,
Yep.
quicker maneuverability, and that's always a good thing. Options are good.
Options are good. No, that's great. And that's great about you. And you've given some really, really great rates. I mean, it's
Yeah, and that's the thing. I always look at it this way. I look at who has the best rates, who's easier to work with, because the last thing you want is a lender pounding down, asking you for more and more and more stuff every single day or every single week. It just gets old. And then the third is speed, because what happens if maybe the rate is a little bit higher, but they can close faster versus somebody who has a better rate, but you're going to have to get an extension, which you may or may not get from that seller because it's taking your lender longer to close this thing. It's not good. Plus, it costs you more money too. The longer this gets stretched out, if your loan is locked, you're going to have to extend. There's a fee to extend the lock
mhm.
on the interest rate. So there's this snowball effect, and people get anxious, right?
Yep. Well, I mean, so there's opportunities out there.
There are
I think that on your side too, rates are still really good.
very
There's
good.
so many different programs that you don't have to do 20% down.
No,
And
not at all.
minimum down payment someone can do right now, still
3.5%.
three and
Yeah,
a half percent
three
down.
to 3.5%. Yeah, absolutely. Those are still out there, and it depends, of course, on the area because there are conforming loan limits.
Yeah,
That all is specific to your situation. So if you need to get a hold of me and you want to talk specifics, because everybody's got a different shoe size kind of thing,
great.
you can contact me at 415-368-1149 or email me ed@kuno, and that's KUN as in Nancy O, advisors with an S at the end. .com. So how do people get a hold of you when they want to talk about, hey, I want to buy either my first property or I want to buy a rental, because we're seeing investors coming out and buying now
Yeah,
too?
a lot of investors are coming out. My
Yeah.
415-756-4418. You could call or text me. Hey Ed, one more thing. So there are still 100% financing, right, for the veterans?
Yes, VA still exists. So veterans, and by the way, you deserve this program. I love this program because not only is it 100% financing still, but you also don't pay any mortgage insurance. That's humongous
Yep.
because a mortgage insurance payment is typically like a car payment, but you're going to notice there's no car in the driveway. It's
Well, yeah,
expensive.
And before, when the market's hot, usually VA loans I think are great. And I, like you said, use them if you can.
Absolutely.
And before, when it's competitive, because VA is a little more stricter with their guidelines, it's hard to, when a seller has so many offers to choose from,
Yeah,
they're gonna pick somebody who has more down payment, and that's an
of
easier
course.
amount. So in this case, for the veterans who want an opportunity, who aren't gonna have a lot of competition, I would say it's a good time
You
to
know what? That's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up because you're right. That's like the perfect storm. Less competition, 100% financing,
mm-hmm.
more of an acceptance from the real estate community
Okay.
about that loan because the reality is we can still close them really fast. You have to pick somebody who's just driven, right? Like anything in life. The
Right.
people who are driven and who have hustle win. Matter of fact, I
Right.
will say that hustle wins over intelligence. You can have a
Oh,
very high IQ, but if you're staying home, does it matter? Not
exactly.
really, right?
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much again for your time and your knowledge and wisdom. It's
Same
always
thing.
appreciated. In the meantime, stay strong and stay healthy. By the way, guys, don't forget, click on the subscribe button on the bottom, and to the right of that is this little bell. Click on that. That way, every time we drop one of these videos, you get notified in the middle of you taking your little coffee. You have a little bit more to watch. All
All
right,
right.
guys, have a great day.
Thank
Stay
you.
safe.